today, guys, I will be showing you guys a super easy, delicious spaghetti recipe with my also homemade spaghetti sauce. So if you guys want to see this easy, delicious recipe, stay tuned. So the things that we're going to be using today is a cutting board. I do have a spatula, a glass bowl, a knife. For my seasonings, you guys can tweak the seasonings to your liking. You guys do not have to use these seasonings. This is just the seasonings that I normally use. Sometimes I switch things out. Sometimes I add things in. But this is what I have in my pantry, so this is what I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using 2 packs of Sazón, some Creole seasoning, garlic powder, oregano, adobe all-purpose season without pepper, adobe lemon and pepper seasoning, onion powder, parsley. Now this ingredient is optional. There's people out there that love sugar in their spaghetti, and there's people out there that say sugar should not go into spaghetti. I'm one of those people that like sugar in my spaghetti, and it also balances out the acidity in the tomato sauce. So this is why I do use sugar in my spaghetti. I have 2 jars of the meat sauce as well as a small jar of the traditional sauce. I couldn't find the meat sauce in this small jar. I bought this sauce just in case I needed more sauce because I love my spaghetti to be saucy. I do not like dry noodles, and I do not like dry meat. I have 1 box of spaghetti noodles, some extra virgin olive oil. I do have my 3 cheese Texas toast. I also have 2 peppers, 1 yellow pepper and 1 orange pepper. And for the last ingredient, it is some ground beef. I do have 2 packets of ground beef. Did I say this is going to be a meaty spaghetti? So guys, I did go ahead and wash both of my peppers off. I am not going to be using all of these peppers. You guys can add whatever vegetables you want to add. You could use yellow pepper, green pepper, orange pepper, red pepper. You could put onions. I just keep mine very simple. I normally do add garlic. I forgot to pick up some garlic. I'm going to just work with the veggies that I have. So I'm just going to go ahead and probably use about this much of my pepper. And these peppers smell so good. Cut all the seeds out. You want to make sure you always wash your produce before using them. So I'm just going to go ahead and chop up my peppers. You can make your peppers as big or as small as you like. I am going to chop them into smaller pieces once I am done. So these are my peppers. You guys can chop them up as small, as big as you want. I am going to put them in my pan. I'm going to add a little bit of some extra virgin olive oil, and then I'm going to toss these in a pan. I'm going to show you guys what I do. I have my pan on medium to high heat. I'm just going to drizzle a little bit in there. It's already starting to get hot. And I'm just going to dump all of my peppers into the pot, and I'm gonna let this cook to my liking. Some people like their peppers with a little bit of crunch. Some people like their peppers to cook till they're translucent. I like my peppers very, very soft. So I'm gonna let this cook down for a little while, and I'm gonna show you guys how they look once they're finished cooking to my liking. You guys want to make sure to keep an eye on your peppers so they do not burn. So while my peppers are cooking, I did go ahead and put a pot of water on the stove with some extra virgin olive oil so it can actually boil, so I could place my noodles in and start cooking my noodles. I do use extra virgin olive oil so my noodles do not stick. I'm just gonna go ahead and cover my pot, and once the water starts boiling, then I will add my noodles. So as my peppers continue to cook, I'm going to go ahead and add the ground beef that is a little bit frozen first before I add the other ground beef to the pot. I want the frozen one to actually cook a little bit because it is still frozen. If I go ahead and use the other pack of ground beef first, that ground beef is going to cook faster than the frozen ground beef. So my water is boiling, so I'm just going to go ahead and add my spaghetti noodles to the pot. So my ground beef has been cooking for about 5 minutes. I continue to go in with my spatula to chop up the meat because you want to make sure that you do not have any chunks in your meat. You want your meat to be fully cooked. So my noodles have been cooking for about 5 minutes. I'm going to let them cook for additional 3 to 4 minutes. You guys can cook your noodles to your liking. You can cook your noodles until they are soft, or you can cook your noodles until they are al dente. So I'm going to continue cooking these noodles, and I'm going to come back once they are drained. So the key to a bomb spaghetti, you guys want to make sure you drain all of that excess oil in your meat. I do not want any oil in my meat sauce. Now that my meat is drained and my meat is firmly chopped, I am going to go in with my Sazon, my onion powder, my garlic powder, and y'all, I do not measure. I just let the cooking gods tell me when to stop. Oregano, my adobe all-purpose season without pepper, my adobe lemon and pepper seasoning, my parsley flakes, and some good old Creole seasoning. Just gonna add a little bit. Now, as I was adding my seasonings, I was mixing the meat together. I do not like just adding all my seasonings on top and mixing everything. I like to mix a little at a time so the seasoning can penetrate the meat. I do not like to season my meat while the meat is cooking because I feel like I know I'm going to pour off the oil. So if I do add my seasonings while it's cooking, all the seasoning is going to be drained off once I pour off my oil. So this is why I wait until after my meat has finished cooking and my meat has drained to season my meat. So y'all, I tasted the meat and the meat is seasoned perfectly. It tastes so good. So I already know my spaghetti finna be bomb. So I did go ahead and turn my stove back on. I'm going to add my 2 big jars of spaghetti sauce, and I'm going to add a half of jar of the small sauce. I'm going to add half of the little small jar. That's about it. That's like more than half. But I'm going to mix everything up. Y'all, I can't do this with one hand. So okay, guys, so I did go ahead and mix my meat sauce all together. When making spaghetti, you want to make sure you cook your sauce. I mean, everybody is different, but I'm going to tell you guys how I make it. I prefer to cook my sauce. I don't like to just open up the jars and just add it to my meat and mix it in my noodles. I don't like doing that. I like to make sure my meat sauce is cooked down. You want your meat to absorb all of that flavor, all of the flavor from the seasonings you added, all of the flavor from the seasonings from the sauce. So guys, my sauce is nice and hot. I did go ahead and add a little bit of water to loosen up the sauce, but I am going to transfer my meat sauce to my pot of noodles. I am going to go ahead and pop my 3 cheese bread into the air fryer, and I'll be back. Now, like I said before, this part is optional. I am going to add my sugar to my meat sauce. This is actually my favorite part of making spaghetti. That's all I'm going to use, and I'm going to mix everything. Guys, this is how my big pot of spaghetti has turned out. Every noodle is nice and coated, and it looks so yummy. I cannot wait to dig in and eat this. you guys enjoy this cooking tutorial, don't forget to hit that like button as well as hit that subscribe button, and make sure you guys turn on all your post notifications so when I do drop more cooking tutorials, you guys won't miss out. But that is going to be all for now. Stay blessed and be safe.